you were very experienced at the time. So I was like, oh, Ben, you know everything. So I asked him to be my script practice partner. So we were script practice partners. And really how it turned out, which I love that we've got all the Quentin team practices that just came in, because they talked about, get together, do your script practice first thing in the morning, and then really hold true to that lead generation. And both of us were in really small market centers. In fact, I think we both had like 40 or something people in them. And we would do script practice together in the morning. And honestly, it was also a lot of camaraderie and knowing that you weren't on an island by yourself. So he's living in Coeur d'Alene, I'm living in, at that time I was running a market center in Beaverton, Oregon, very small. And we would get together every morning and then we would make our calls. And I'll just even stop on that for a second. One of the things that we really practiced, which came out of Bold, was we would do that where we would give each other the 3 no's and then we would get the yes, so that our brain would always be searching for that yes in our lead generation.
Yeah, and she's tough to role play with, I'm not gonna lie. She's really good at it. All right, so we did that, right? And the opportunity you had there ended because you wanted, or found a different opportunity with a guy we both know and had known as a peer. His name was Cody Gibson. Does anybody know that guy? No. Okay. Well, he's a really good guy with a bad sense of humor. So when you see him, pretend like he's really funny. No, but we knew Cody because Cody was the team leader in Anchorage, and so we were all in the same region, and we were peers. And so then you had an opportunity to get into business with Cody when?
So I think just a little bit. I think it's getting close to 5 years now that I've been in business with him. And really what it was is, I really pushed myself into the KW world. And of course, I reached out to people like Ben and other people that were extremely successful in the KW world. And I remember Mike Brody, actually, and I were coaching at the time. And I don't know if you guys know Mike Brody, but he's made about, he makes somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million in profit share every year. So this is just passive income. This is a guy that you wanted to talk to. And so I asked him if he'd coach me a little bit, and he said, get into a bigger pond, get into a bigger pond, get into a bigger pond. And Cody's name kept coming up.
So you get into business with Cody.
Yep.
And you are, I didn't know what this meant, but you are a boss babe. I learned that from her. I did learn what that meant from her, and she is one. How many companies, whether it's yours, Cody's, ours, mine, whoever's, like how many companies do you run or own right now?
I run 5 companies, and I also founded my own nonprofit, a 501c3.
5 companies, nonprofit, and keep getting more opportunity put in front of you. Right, so how many people have ever used the excuse, I don't have enough time? Bullshit. All right. Now, 5 companies, nonprofit, right? And then you're also teaching. You were just up in Coeur d'Alene. Where's Karen? Karen's here from Coeur d'Alene. She and I sat in the class next to each other. Phenomenal class, talking about Airbnb, and now you have a really awesome empire in that world, and it's growing as well. So you have all this good stuff going. And then Cody comes to you and says, hey, I have another opportunity for you. What was that opportunity?
Well, I mean, first he said, hey, Northwest region, and here I was trying to get into the warmer states. So it was actually funny, CJ Henderson's in here right now, and I was like, well, I really want Arizona, because I was like trying to get this excuse to go down to the sun.
She wanted to write off.
I wanted to go down to the sun. I was like, I want to be in Vegas, because if you guys know me, I like cards, and I definitely like to gamble. And then, of course, I wanted the sun, and Cody was like, well, we really need your help in the Northwest region. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll take that. Then he came to me, and he said, why don't you be the general manager for a great new office I just bought?
Okay, so you're running 5 companies, you have a nonprofit, you're a team leader of a market center for Cody here. He presents you another opportunity, and you make no money in that opportunity. Why? I got a couple questions for you. First, why in the world would you take that? And why in the world aren't you just out on your own doing your own thing? Because you're completely competent, you're incredibly smart, very good with people. Like, why all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I have this question for new agents all the time, right? We've been recruiting for years, and people always ask me, should you go on a team? Should you go solo? And the question that I ask them is, do you want to build your brand? Do you want to build somebody else's brand? And then we usually get into a little bit more needs analysis. So for starters, I think a couple different things. One is, I think that there's safety in numbers going into any kind of market. I don't know why, that's just a theory and part of why I love being part of a team. I like camaraderie. I like the systems. I like all of you people sitting in here. I love getting to know new people. So for me, a team is just a natural thing for me. In fact, I remember having one of those personality tests done years ago in the insurance industry, and they told me that I could never run a State Farm because I liked to have a team too much, and I would be too much alone on my own island. So for me, that's part of the reason. The second reason is, honestly, I would not have written an Airbnb and You course, which got approved by Airbnb and their attorneys, and Airbnb knows who I am. I would not have that if it wasn't for Cody. I know the writers because of Cody. I will take anything on in his world simply because it allows me the platform to figure out my next move. I'm around so many big thinkers, and I'll tell you, I'm sitting here right now. I was invited to go meet with Gary Keller next week, and I sent a text message to Jason Abrams, and I said, do you want to have dinner with me when I land? I'd love to talk to you about some things. That is not because I'm Leann Harris. It's because I'm Leann Harris who lives inside Cody Gibson's world, period. I guarantee you. Gary Keller doesn't know my name. He doesn't want to meet with me. He wants to meet with the person that's running in Cody's world. Does that make sense? So to me, Cody continued to completely expand his world, even at the cost of his own success at times, because some of the ventures that we go on are not money-making opportunities. But what they are is a bigger world for us to have money-making opportunities, and then I'm able to grow inside that. Did that answer the question?
No, it absolutely did. It absolutely did. Now, if I'm somebody sitting in the audience and I hear that, I'm like, yeah, you're just saying that because Cody's here. But what I can tell you is that's what she tells me when he's not here. Like, that's the real answer, right? So, what I love about what you just said, and I think a lot of us can be short-sighted, and actually, where are our leaders? Raise your hand. Leaders in UHG. So we spent a good part of yesterday afternoon together. And this is one of the things we talked about there too, is having the bigger perspective, the bigger picture, looking at the bigger whole. We have a tendency to be so short-sighted and see just what's right in front of our face, and we miss the forest through the trees.
Absolutely.
So if you're speaking to these people, they have one business. Some of them have a separate, but I guarantee most of them don't have 5 and a nonprofit. What do you say to those people in terms of how they manage it and what they should be looking for and the importance of aligning with the right people?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple different things. One is you've got to get good at what you're in front of right now today. You're about ready to hear about sync leads, and I cannot tell you what a gold mine they are. Like, it's insane, the opportunity that you have. You're gonna hear from David Gerard. He's in my office. I watched this guy's success from the moment that he had nothing to where he is today. And I'm like, my gosh, this is just, it's a gold mine what Cody has provided for you guys. So get really, really, really good at what you're doing right now, and listen to what Jeff just said about lead generation every day. Like, this isn't rocket science, and yet you're gonna probably get paid more than rocket scientists do. You know what I mean? Like, this is an amazing opportunity, and that's your platform for you to get that spotlight on you. And I didn't get in Cody's world because I was a crappy recruiter, I can tell you that. I didn't get in his world because I decided to make excuses every single day. I got in his world because I said yes, and then I crushed it, and I crushed it to the point where I didn't care what was in front of me. I was like, I'm bulldozing it just so that I can get good at the one thing so that he would notice me for the next thing. And I didn't come back to him and say, I can't, oh gosh, I can't do that. Like, sometimes he'll hear me with a little bit of push, and he basically tells me to zip it and get it done. I'm like, I'm on it, right? I'm on it. So I think that that's the thing. Like, we look at it and we're like, well, I want all that opportunity. I'm like, okay, well then go list 5 or 6 houses this month. Go list a bunch of houses, show me that. And then if you do that, you're gonna get noticed no matter what, because here's the deal. Nobody wants to outgrow talent. We wanna make our world bigger for talent. And I think that that's where we go, is we wanna go from point A to Z, and we don't wanna do any of the work in between.
100%. Now, in closing, you and I have seen a number of partners in the organization. Let's just ask a question really quick. How many people in this organization want to be a partner of an expansion organization and never grow any bigger opportunity than that? Raise your hand. Look around. Go ahead, look around. Yeah, I can see if your head's moving or not. So how many people are holding their hands up other than me, awkwardly? That's no one, right? So So you and I have had conversations with a couple people, and there's one in particular who I'm referencing. I'm not going to say name because they're a dear person. And this person wanted opportunity with us and as a result with Cody. And so they said they wanted opportunity, and talk is cheap. So they said they wanted opportunity. Well, I was transitioning out of an opportunity at that point in time, and so Leann stepped in, and that's how we were working together in this way. And this person then came to both of us and said, I really want opportunity. I want to grow. And so what did we tell that person?
Do the work, right? So it's listing the houses, recruiting the agents, do the work. Show us what that looks like.
Exactly right. We told them it's yours to lose.
Yours to late.
It's yours to lose.
Yeah.
Write that down. Because right now in your business, your opportunity, your success is yours to lose. No one else cares. I love y'all, and I don't care whether you do it or don't. All I care about is giving you the tools to be able to. I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. So this person said they wanted opportunity, and yet they didn't want to do just what you said. They didn't want to do what it was required. We said, be this, do this many units. Make it so difficult for Cody to see you as a rising talent inside of his organization that he can't help but force him to create an opportunity, even if there isn't one that exists. Ultimately, what happened?
They deselected. They deselected because our standards are high. And I'll tell you something that's very interesting around that too, is Jeff just mentioned this while he was on stage, is that people will pick on people that do their activities every single day. They'll start to find holes in it, and they'll make fun of you, or they'll pick at you and say, oh, you're doing your scripts, why don't you just be a regular person, and blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of naysayers that are out there. And one of the really funny things is that a lot of people said to me when Ben and I started working together, not knowing our background, oh, you and Ben, how are you guys gonna work together? I'm like, fine, I think. What do you mean? And I think what they thought was we have two big personalities that are coming together. And what's interesting is that small-minded people think that way, because what they don't understand is that Ben and I get in a room, we start talking, and all of a sudden we just make money sitting in that room because we're thinking and talking at a higher level. But people actually wanted to naysay and say Ben and I had too big of personalities to be able to work with each other. And I'm like, why? So I would say to everybody in this room, man, I'm telling you, if there's a better, and I ran another expansion operation. I was on the ground level with expansion. I expanded into 27 locations with an amazing person who I absolutely adore, and we still have a great friendship. And unfortunately, I outgrew that opportunity, or I outgrew that, and it was time for me to go on to the next one. And I'm telling you, I can't see the end in sight around Cody. You are in an amazing, amazing operation. And I don't say that because, what I have, I think that I earned what I have. And I even have businesses that he's not involved in. And quite frankly, that was part of my break today, was how do I get Cody involved in this? It is a great opportunity that you guys have in front of you.
Love you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's give her a round.